Hello, everyone, and welcome to Main Street America's Digital Trainers webinar series. Today with us, Tierra Norwood with How to Master Soft Skills for Small Businesses. Take it away, Tierra.
All right. Hello, everyone. I'm Tierra Norwood. I am a small business digital trainer with Main Street America. And today I'm going to present how to master soft skills for small business. A little bit about our program before we get started. Main Street America is focused on helping small business owners all across the United States, providing them with new skills through the team of digital marketing experts. I'm one of those digital marketing experts, and I will remind you that anything that you hear during this workshop, if you would like a deeper dive or you would like to sit down and actually figure out how you can implement these strategies in your business, the four of us that you see pictured on the screen, we are digital trainers through Main Street America that offer free one-on-ones. So at the end, you'll see a QR code, and if you'd like to schedule time to do a one-on-one session, please take advantage of that. So this is a workshop overview. Of course, you can take time to read that yourself, but what we're focusing on today is the communication, organization, and the time management skills of your business. We're going to focus on things like email, making sure you have a business phone number, maximizing the use of your Google Calendar. We'll look at Google Drive, and then we'll also discuss some AI tools for assistance. Feel free if you have questions throughout the presentation to put them in the chat, and then we can share emails and discuss those questions. All righty. So your email address is your digital handshake. A lot of times, as entrepreneurs starting new businesses, we tend to use the same email that we've been using for a while. And it is important that we take the time to create a business email that is dedicated solely for our business. It helps us to build credibility and trust with clients, but it also helps to build our brand because I feel like as a consumer, I would prefer the email, even if it's not a professional domain email at this time and it's just your business name at Gmail. I would prefer to see that versus your high school email, maybe babygirl123 at Gmail, that you also receive your Bath and Body coupons and school notifications. We need to separate business from personal. And then that way it does simplify communication because you're not funneling through trying to figure out where is that email that someone sent me about an order or inquiring about my services because it's lost in coupons. There are several different options for professional emails. The first, of course, would be Google Workspace. If you would like an email that is set up with your custom domain, so maybe info@yourbusinessname.com, you can go directly through Google Workspace and obtain an email. There are some monthly costs associated with them, and you'll see those listed out on the screen. Feel free to go to the Google Workspace website to look more into those. But if you are a one person business right now, you don't have any staff that need additional emails, you're looking at about $6 a month. If your budget currently doesn't allow for you to spend any money on a professional email, at least getting a dedicated Gmail address. So you can get a free Gmail, of course, at gmail.com, and then it makes the transition from your Gmail email to your professional domain email seamless. If you would like to get started with a professional email, the first thing that you'll need is a domain. Um, I will say there are so many places that you can purchase a domain, but be mindful that there are privacy fees and annual renewal fees that sometimes are included. I personally paid about $1 for my domain and was unaware that when it was renewal time, it was the dollar plus $100 renewal fee. With Squarespace domains, which used to be Google domains, there's a $12 flat rate and it includes all of the privacy features. So I do recommend looking into Squarespace domains. Other popular platforms to purchase domains include like GoDaddy, but again, I highly recommend Squarespace domains. Once you get the domain, you can come over to Google Workspace, which the address is listed here at workspace.google.com, and you'd click Get Started. You'll be prompted to add your email and whatever current email address you're using. You'll, of course, have the opportunity to let them know that you want to purchase a professional email. But in the meantime, if you have a personal Gmail that you're using, you can sign up with it. Time is money, and missed calls cost both of them. We all know that on our personal cell phones, we don't necessarily answer every call, especially if it's a number that's not programmed. And as a business owner, we're going to get calls from people who numbers are not saved in our phones. So that is why it's important to have a dedicated business line. And again, if your budget does not allow for you to call Verizon or T-Mobile and say, hey, add a line for my business, you can start with a free Google Voice number. Google Voice will give you a free number. It allows you to separate those business calls and personal calls. You can access your Google Voice through the website. You can also download an app on your phone. It's very simple to set up. You're able to choose a number if you want to put in a specific area code, and then you can connect your Google Voice to your personal cell. So you can still get those calls on your personal cell without having to have an additional line or give out your personal number. And I also wanted to mention Good Call, which Good Call is a more advanced option, and it is not a free option, but it is a great option for entrepreneurs who currently don't have staff or currently don't have a dedicated business number. With Good Call, it allows you to get a virtual assistant that you can program to know things about your business. They can book, they can send people to the website, they can text callers, but they can also take messages and transfer the calls to your personal cell. So I actually have a Google Voice and a Good Call number. And one other thing I like to mention about Google Voice is I can log in on the website or pull it up on my cell phone, and I'm able to pull up voicemails and text messages from clients as far back as 2017. So it's a lot more storage than what we can have on a regular phone line. To get started, if you're interested in Google Voice, you would just go to voice.google.com and make sure you sign in with the email address that you are using specifically for business. They do give you the option to select personal or business. The biggest difference, of course, we're all small businesses, but the biggest difference is with the for business, it does allow you to get extensions and is more so for people who might want to use Google Voice in the office. I've seen a lot of solopreneurs, especially those who may be working under a DBA or not registered yet, who go under personal use and just dedicate that line to their business calls. All righty. So one of my favorite topics is really maximizing the use of the Google Calendar, because the key is not to prioritize what's on your schedule, but to schedule your priorities. And I thought that was a great quote and wanted to share with you all. And of course, we all know that the Google Calendar is accessible to anyone who has a Google account, but are you using it? As a small business owner, it is very important that we manage our time wisely. And by using Google Calendar, not only can we access this anywhere because it's on our phone, it's on our computer, but it also centralizes our schedule management and helps us to maintain a work life balance. Entrepreneurs and small business owners need a work life balance. So some of the key features, of course, we all know that you can add meetings and events to your calendar, but some of the features that I'd like to highlight are starting with the calendar sharing. I love being able to just share my calendar with contractors that might be working on a project with me, or even my grandmother, so she knows my schedule so she can babysit the children. But either way, with Google Calendar, we do have the option to be able to share our calendars with team members and others. And then you also have the opportunity to change any calendar to a public calendar. So I've included a public calendar on my Google Calendar. And when I do public events, of course, I add it on my personal, but then I make sure that I add it to the public, because those public calendars do have a link. You can share it on your social media. You can embed that calendar on your website. And when people go to your website, they can see what events you have going on, and you're able to add those events directly on your Google Calendar, and it's not a separate step on website. Outside of being able to really have the public calendars, share it with others, people really don't use the appointments slots. And I love the appointment slots because we all know that if you have a service-based business and you book appointments with people, you might need a booking calendar, you might use Calendly, and we all know those have fees. But with Google Calendar, if you click create, it will bring up event, out of office, task, and appointment schedule. If you click on appointment schedule, you're able to add different blocks on your calendar that you're willing to meet with people. And then it gives you a link, and you can share that link, and people can book appointments with you directly on your Google Calendar. And the last thing I want to highlight are the tabs. So Google now has it where you can add your task directly to your Google Calendar. So you can track your to-do list right alongside the events. Anytime I'm talking to small business owners, I like to remind them that we put everything on our calendar. If it's a meeting, if it's an event, if we have something, a deadline for a client, it's all on the calendar. However, we forget to schedule time to work on our business. We work in it, but how often are you using your calendar to schedule time to work on your business? So I do recommend blocking time to work on your business. This is focused time to work on strategies and growth initiatives. And then also adding personal time. So, yes, we're blocking out time to work on our business, but if you are in a lot of meetings or work with a lot of clients, consider adding 15 minutes of just time to decompress in between meetings. But utilize your calendar and schedule your business, and schedule that personal time to avoid burnout. Another free tool that I want to recommend is reclaim.ai. It is a website. At this time, they don't have an app. I am waiting for the app to come out. But with Reclaim, you're able to use those tasks that we've outlined in Google, or just type our task right into Reclaim, and it integrates with our Google Calendar. So as long as all of our other meetings, client events, personal events, as long as it's up there, it'll look at our time and say, well, these are the tasks that you need to get done. And we've now filled in your calendar with dedicated time to do those tasks. It is a game changer because a lot of times when we look at our calendar and we see empty blocks, we say, wow, time to breathe. Wow, time to go to the grocery store. But Reclaim says, hey, you have a deadline next week. Let's put this in that empty slot. So it allows you a little assistance when it comes to blocking time for your business. All righty. So now, just a quick recap. We've discussed the importance of having a professional email, having a professional dedicated business line, and then we just finished talking about using the calendar. Now we're going to switch gears and look at Google Drive. Google Drive, for anyone who doesn't know, is a cloud-based storage. And as you can see with this stat right here, cloud-based storage solutions like Google Drive have increased business productivity by an average of 33%. If you are someone like myself who still has a file cabinet and still keeps paper copies, that's awesome, but with Google Drive, we're able to electronically file these documents. And if you're a new business, eventually you'll scale. You'll have people that work for you, admin, additional staff. And Google Drive allows you a place to store all of those documents and be able to share those with staff. Different reasons why you should consider using Google Drive. Again, it is a cloud-based storage, so that means it's accessible anywhere. A lot of times we walk around with USB drives because all of those documents that we might need one day are there. Well, Google Drive makes it where we don't have to walk around with that USB drive anymore. We can just pull up our computer anywhere we are, or even on someone else's computer, and log into our Google and pull up those documents. It is secure. It allows you to be able to collaborate in real time with your team members. I'll talk to you about some of the tools underneath Google Drive, but being able to work on a document at the same time as your coworker who may be in another state is a game changer. Being able to share the permission settings, and we'll talk about this in just a few. There are so many sharing and permission settings that allow you to not only share internally, but externally with customers and clients as well. a collaborative editing in real time, and being able to organize your folders into your files into folders and categories. I personally use Google Drive for all of my clients. And I make a folder for each of them, and I share the folder that is for that specific client with that client. And as I'm working on projects, they can easily click on the folder and look at everything that I have saved or completed. So it is a game changer. And if you're not using Google Drive, then hopefully by the end of this presentation, you can at least want to. Some of the tools within Google Drive, which there are a bunch, but there are four that we're going to look at today. We all know that once we get a Microsoft account, Microsoft Word and Microsoft Excel, they all cost. There is a fee associated to have access to those programs. With Google Drive, you have access to these at no cost. Google Docs is similar to a Microsoft Word and is used for word processing and collaboration. Google Sheets is similar to a Microsoft Excel. Google Slides would be similar to PowerPoint. And Google Forms, if you are currently using any Jot forms or any forms, or if you're not using forms and need them, then Google Forms allows access to free form creation. And we'll talk about all of these individually and how you can utilize these tools in your business. What you'll notice is when you go to any of these Google tools, they will start the page off with the template gallery. So specifically for Docs, there's meeting notes, training proposals, essay templates, onboarding notes, project proposals. But for Google Docs, some of the practical ways that you can implement using it in your business would be just team collaboration on business proposals or other project documents. Again, if you currently only have one or two staff, or maybe it's just you, we know as we scale, we'll eventually have to hire more employees. So Google Docs allows you the opportunity to start writing your SOPs. Even if you just go in and make notes on how you do things in business, that'll help you when you are ready to create SOPs or standard operating procedure documents for your business. And then content creation. You can use Google Docs to type your blog posts, your newsletters, create your social media content. And they do have the typing feature, well, the voice typing feature where you can talk and let it type what you say. One thing that I did mention over here is that with a Google document, you can actually publish it to the web and have a web page. So for people who maybe you have a program going on and all of the information about the program has been typed on a Google Doc. Well, you can publish it to the web and get a URL that you can share on social media, via email, or however, but it'll bring people directly to a web page that is that document. Awesome. No charge for any of those great tools. This is a free program that you can use for your business. With Google Sheets, again, you'll see the template gallery. There's weekly timesheets, expense reports, invoices. But practically, you can use Google Sheets for sales and revenue tracking. If you are someone who does a lot of digital marketing and content creation, you can also track your content. I've seen many people use Google Sheets and other spreadsheet programs to write out their content in a sheet form. So if you currently don't have a CRM, which is a customer relationship management system, you can start with just listing your customer database in a Google Sheet. This allows you to maintain a list of your clients' names, contact information, interaction history. And once you do get a CRM for your business, you can import that information into your CRM. If you are someone who is currently seeking a CRM, I do recommend HubSpot. It is very easy to use and it does integrate with all of the Google tools as well as my Wix website and my Square POS. You can also use Google Sheets for inventory management. So tracking your stock levels, your suppliers, putting in notes about your suppliers, and then automating alerts on your Google Sheets. So when stocks fall behind under a certain threshold, you'll get notified. Google Slides. very similar to Microsoft PowerPoint. And again, you will see a template gallery, some practical uses for Google Slides, a business pitch deck, whether it is a pitch deck for an investor or maybe you're a nonprofit having a fundraiser next year and we need a pitch deck for sponsors. We can create that pitch deck at no cost using Google Slides. It allows you to do a professional pitch deck. You're able to use the template gallery if you'd like. You can embed videos and add animations. As you'll see, this is one of the Google Slides templates. If you are a subject matter expert and you maybe teach classes, trainings, and workshops, use Google Slides to create those PowerPoints. And then you can also create marketing campaigns for your marketing campaign presentations for your company as well. The last tool I want to discuss is Google Forms. And Google Forms, again, as you can see, it has a template gallery. So maybe you just need a form to collect contact information. Maybe you want to do a survey on how the event went, or even event registration or job applications. Those templates are already created for you in Google Forms. You can also use a blank form and build it out however you need it. You can use it as customer feedback surveys. You can also use it for event registration and employee performance reviews. So one of my favorite topics, we all have heard of ChatGPT, and we all have heard of all of the different AI tools that people are using, but Google has also brought out their own AI platform, which is Google Gemini. I do have a quote that AI will empower entrepreneurs to achieve more with less. Google Gemini, in essence, is very similar to a Chat GPT or a Microsoft Copilot. It is designed to streamline business operations so you can leverage this AI to assist you with a wide range of tasks, helping you to save time and effort. So, how can Gemini help you in your business? It can help you improve decision making. It can help with creative inspiration. My friends laugh at me because when I talk to Google Gemini, I just thought dump. And I say, these are all the things I'm thinking about. Can you help me to organize these thoughts into XYZ? And that's what it does. So you can use it for communication. You can also use it for information access. And the fact that it is online is accessible 24/7. So anytime you need that additional support, maybe you're working on a new project and you're stumped. Well, let's go to Google Gemini at 3 a.m. and ask Google Gemini to help because it will, because again, it's accessible 24/7. And then last but not least, Google Gemini is free. We know other platforms, AI platforms, have costs associated with it to access certain features. But Google Gemini is free, and there is not a paid version of Google Gemini. If you're interested in getting started with Google Gemini, then I have listed the web address here, and that's gemini.google.com. So for this last half, I want to spend time just talking about different ways that you can use AI in your business. A lot of people who have not attempted to use AI uh, apparently do not know all of the different ways that they can use it. And when I talk to them about the different ways, their mind is blown. So, 20 easy ways that you can use AI right now. The first, most people who have used AI have used it for social media captions. Not only can you do social media captions, just social media posts in general. The good thing about AI is it understands the demographics of all of those social media platforms. It also understands your audience. It also can do research. So when you are creating social media posts, you can go over to AI, let it know what platform you're using, who your target audience is, and make sure that they include keywords that will capture the audience's attention. SEO friendly post on Facebook or Instagram so that it can tailor the captions and posts specifically to the platform. If you are someone who maybe has not figured out how to respond to really, really mean emails. If we get a client or a prospect or a team member that is just really upset with us and they send us an email, how do we respond? Well, we can sit for hours and figure out the most professional way to handle this, or we can go over to Google Gemini and easily copy and paste the email that you received and say, this is how I'd like to respond. Help me phrase this more professionally. So it doesn't take out you and your authenticness. It just makes it more professional without you spending the hours to figure out how to say that. So that's how AI helps with communication, because not only can you draft personalized emails, but you can also use it to respond to emails and reviews. If you are familiar with Google Trends, you know that that is a free tool where you can go and research keywords and trending topics on Google. But you can also use Google Gemini to research trending keywords for your blog posts or for your ads. When we start creating audience specific content for our marketing campaigns, I like for people to think about what the customer persona is. Who is it that your product or service speaks to? Who does it fix a problem for? And that is who we tell Gemini that we are trying to reach. Because if we give Gemini or whatever AI platform you do choose to use to make business easier, give them all of the information they need to make the most accurate response that is specifically to the audience that you're trying to reach. We can also use it for bios. When people ask me to send a bio, sometimes I don't know where to start. But we always have AI where we can just dump everything into it, all of the things that we want to highlight about ourselves or a team member, and allow Gemini to create that bio for us. Also, using it for headlines, for your newsletters, and your press release. And I will again throw in a side note, if you currently are not using an email newsletter for your business, I would highly recommend considering implementing an email newsletter. The reason being is because, yes, we have our followers on social media, but with social media, if someone's page gets hacked, or if they decide for the new year they are fasting from social media, or they're getting rid of social media, or maybe they just make a new page, we lose access to that follower. They no longer see our content unless they remember when they make their new page or get back on social media to follow us again. But with email marketing, once we capture people's email, even if we don't send out a monthly newsletter, maybe we decide to do it quarterly or even twice a year. Either way, we have a way to constantly, or whenever we'd like, remind people that we're here, we exist, these are our products and services, and it's going directly to these individuals. It's not very often that someone wakes up and says, you know what, today's a good day for a new email. So let's think of ways to capture some emails from potential customers and clients. You can also use Gemini to conduct analysis of customer reviews or feedback. I love this because if you are using your Google Business profile and you're requesting that people leave you reviews, yes, we respond to our reviews, but by using Gemini to analyze our reviews, we can copy all of those reviews, drop them in Gemini, and say, Gemini, based on what you found here in my reviews, where are some areas of improvement, or what is something that our company is known for doing really well? You can also generate sale ideas. The holidays are among us. We have Thanksgiving just next week, and then Christmas will be here before you know it. So, this is a great time to really think of some innovative ways to drive sales. And you can use Gemini to generate some ideas. If you are someone who is selling products and you need product descriptions or service summaries, you can do those with Gemini as well. Again, if you have a Google Business profile, Google does allow you to add your products directly to your profile so that people can see what you're offering. And if they like it, they can click to buy. When they click, we can have it where they check out on our website, but we just want to make sure when they click and they read the description that they're still sold. So, with the creating a product description, We can go over to Gemini and say, this is our product. These are the things about our product that we want to highlight, and get Gemini to create our product description. And that is just one of the many ways that you can use Gemini for your products and your service summaries. For database insights, if you do not want to spend hours researching online and looking at your competitors, let's go to Gemini and say, hey, these are my competitors. Could you look at what they're doing and then look at my website, compare the two? Tell me where I have the leg up, or tell me where my weaknesses or my strengths are. Where are there opportunities for me to do something different than my competition? But instead of you spending, again, hours, save some of that time and let Gemini assist. I like to tell people to use these AI tools as a personal assistant. We don't want it to do the work for us, we just want it to help us with the work. Additional ways, 10 more. So the next would be just creative names for new products or services. As consumers, we know catchy names always catch our eye, but sometimes we get writer's block when we're trying to figure out what to name this package or what to name this product. So let's ask Gemini for some assistance. We can write scripts for promotional videos and ads. I will say I have used Gemini to create radio scripts, letting them know how long the spot was and what the spot is about. And it was very, very efficient. I've also used it for video ads as well. Again, I have mentioned the content calendars. We can go to Gemini and say, hi, my business is XYZ. These are my services and products. This is my website for you to learn more about me. Based on what you know, create a 30-day content calendar. You can also get assistance with developing business and marketing plans. Most businesses feel like you only need your business plan when it's time to approach a traditional bank for funding. But business plans are really the blueprint to your business, and it helps to keep you on track so that 3 years from now, you remember what it is that you said that you wanted to be doing with your business in 3 years. The same goes with marketing plans. They're very important to have, but yet not a lot of small business owners take the time to create a marketing plan. If you don't have a business plan or a marketing plan, I recommend using some AI tools to assist you in creating those for your business. Again, doing research on industry trends and compiling summaries on those trends, drafting engaging opening lines for your networking or pitch emails, crafting your FAQs based on common question queries. And you can drop this information in. If you know what questions you get commonly, you can drop it in and say, I get these questions all the time. These are my answers. Create a document that is a Q&A with all of these organized. So it's not Gemini saying, well, these might be some questions people ask. This is you giving them the questions and then Gemini just making it look better and flow better. You're also able to create concise summaries of complex documents. I love that we can add an attachment. So if I have a 200-page PDF that I need to review so that I can send over a proposal, then I can, of course, look at it, but I can also upload it to Gemini and say, give me a very detailed summary of what this client needs based on this PDF that's attached, and then highlight the key points that I need to address. It saves a lot of time. We also want to think about how we can use it to do website audits. I call it website audits. We can drop in our URL or our domain and say, hey, Gemini, look at my website and give me some constructive feedback. Let me know what I can do better. Let me know in what areas I can improve the SEO. There's so much that you can do as far as getting Gemini to review your website and give you feedback and suggestions. And then lastly, I just wanted to wrap it up with another very easy way to use Gemini for your business, and that's simply for hashtags. And as platforms such as Instagram and TikTok continue to grow. One thing that they're becoming are mini search engines. So, no, they're not the Google or the Yahoos of the world, but people go to TikTok to search for products and services that they're interested in. If there is a specific field or industry that you are an expert in, they might be typing in on those TikTok and Instagram search bars those specific keywords. And so by having those relevant hashtags in our social media posts that Gemini helped us to create, we can make sure that we are capturing that audience and making sure that we're putting our posts in front of the people who are looking for our services and our products. So I do want to do a recap of the resources that I shared with you today. Again, it is so important to make sure that we separate our business and personal. And if you're just starting your business, this is the best time to get these things in place so that business has not been, operational for 2 years. And now we have to transition to using a dedicated business line. Of course, Google Workspace, you can obtain a professional business email, or if you don't have the budget at this time to pay monthly for a professional email, at least using a Gmail account that again is free, but dedicated specifically to business communication only. That will alleviate your business emails getting lost underneath coupons. We also have Google Voice as a free option for a dedicated business line. Again, Google Voice, you do have to have a Google account. So any Gmail that you're using, specifically if it's the Gmail that's for your business, that is the one you should use to create the Google Voice account. There is no expiration date, so it's not you can only have this number for 5 or 6 years. As long as you actively use that number, it is yours until you don't want it anymore. And then it's still yours, but you just don't have to use it. And then lastly, in that category, we discussed Good Call, which Good Call allows you to have the virtual AI assistants. You are able to select, I think they have maybe 20 different voices or characters you can choose from. And then there are so many different prompts and questions that you can train your AI assistant to know about your business. We talked about the calendar and we talked about maximizing the use of it. Not only do we need to add events and meetings and holidays and birthdays to our calendar, but we also need to schedule time to work on our business, schedule time to relax in between events and meetings and maintain that work life balance. Because if not, we will experience burnout because there is no set amount of hours in a month that a small business owner works. So we have to be prepared to schedule our time so that we don't burn out, but that we are also are spending time working on the business so that we can scale. And if you need some help, Reclaim.ai is a free tool that integrates with your Google Calendar and you can list all of the tasks. One thing I didn't mention is when you're adding your tasks, each individual task, it'll ask you, how long would you like to work on this at a minimum? So if you want to work on this at a minimum of 30 minutes, but you don't want it to exceed an hour, it'll keep that in mind when it's looking for openings on your calendar. It also will ask you, when is this due? So if this is due by December, it'll look at all of the weeks between now and December and put it in the slots that you have available. So you don't have to worry about, oh, it doesn't know when I need it by, because it does allow you to tell them when the deadline is. And then you can also prioritize those tasks. So high priority to low priority. Next, oh, and the last thing about the calendar, if you are accepting appointments or any kind of bookings, keep in mind that you can do appointment slots directly on the Google Calendar, and it will give you a dedicated link for people to be able to click and go book on your calendar. So if you currently have a booking spot or a booking link on your business profile and you switch over and you say, I'm just going to book directly on my Google Calendar, then you would just be able to replace the link with the newly generated link from the calendar, and people will still be able to book directly with you. We looked at Google Drive for storage and collaboration. Um, Google Drive is an awesome tool, a cloud-based storage system so that you can not only e-file, but you can collaborate with your team members. If there are documents that you need to create, you can create those for free using Google Docs. Again, remember that you are able to publish to the web using Google Docs. So if you're a business that currently does not have a website, but people ask you about your programs or ask you about your services, you can create a Google document and then publish it to the web and use that. I will say that it doesn't give you a short URL or short domain to use. It is very lengthy, but you still get a direct link to that specific document on the web. We discussed Google Sheets for our spreadsheet needs, Google Slides so that we can create presentations, and then Google Forms as a free alternative to JotForm or any other form program where you're using for onboarding or for client feedback or surveys or even team member performance reports. You can do those using Google Forms. And then I know we did a deep dive into some of the ways that you can use Google Gemini, but there are other AI tools out there. So I did want to also mention those. Of course, the most popular of them would be the Chat GPT. But then if you are a Microsoft user and you have an Outlook, you do have access on your Microsoft computer as well as through your Microsoft accounts to use Copilot. I love Gemini. I think it's great. All of the things that you can do with Gemini, and especially since there is no additional cost to use it. So if you do have any questions about today's presentation, my contact information is listed here. So you'll find my email, my phone number, and my direct website. I am located here in North Carolina. If you'd like to take a picture of this screen, feel free to email me if you have any questions. And then please keep in mind that through Main Street America's Small Business Digital Trainers Program, not only do we have webinars that are live webinars, we also have on-demand training that is available, and you can register for a one-on-one session with either myself or one of the other 3 digital trainers. But these one-on-one sessions are at no cost to you. Feel free if you'd like to deep dive into any of these topics and how it specifically can be used in your business, feel free to take advantage of these one-on-ones. And I see that we are actually wrapping up a little sooner than expected. So, Gustavo, are you okay with questions or?
Hi, yes. Are you seeing the Q&A or do you want me to read them out
Yeah, I
loud?
see.
Okay.
All righty. And so Brittany asked about the CRM. The CRM that I recommended was HubSpot. HubSpot, again, I'm always going to introduce your free options first. And so HubSpot is free. They do have a free forever plan, actually. And then once your business scales and you need to start hiring employees and adding additional people to the CRM, you might encounter some fees at that time. But as long as it's just you using the CRM at this moment, then it would definitely be free for you. And that's HubSpot. And I'll drop it in the chat as well, you guys. All right, and then the next, so what is the difference between Google Gemini and Microsoft Pilot? So I will say the biggest difference is Google Gemini is a Google tool that is open to anyone that Googles Google Gemini. Microsoft Copilot is more specifically for Microsoft users, people with Outlook accounts. I know it comes on some of the HP computers now because they're Microsoft based. And then anytime I'm using like my Microsoft email or Microsoft Teams, I see Copilot. And then as far as the actual platform itself and generating information, there's not a really big difference. With Copilot, you too can upload attachments and tell it to review images and documents. Microsoft Copilot is also very well known for the ability to create images. So a lot of people use Microsoft Copilot to create designs. You can do the same with ChatGPT, but I noticed there's a lot of like spelling errors in ChatGPT's documents, I mean graphics, but with Microsoft Copilot, they do a really good job. All right, and then it says, can you put your contact information back up? Yes. Yes, let me go back over to go. All right. So then mandatory legal state of Google to regulate. But it is a pivot for these small businesses. Um, I'm trying to understand the question a little bit better. So a pivot for the small businesses from using Google altogether. Are you meaning like all of the Google tools? And if you could just drop some clarity in the chat for me. And I'll get back to that one. And so Microsoft Copilot is free, but again, it's free with Microsoft account. Oh, okay. So with let's see. I did not drop the HubSpot link. I had just added the name HubSpot. It's HUB. And let me type the answer here, see if it comes through to you. HubSpot. But it's just HubSpot.com. Alrighty, and so Sam had a question about Canva's AI tools. I love Canva's AI tools. I will say if you are interested in looking at some of the Canva AI tools, feel free to book a one-on-one session with me, and we can look at those. Canva has done so much with their AI tools. Just quickly, I'll say, if you're using the documents on Canva, which a lot of people don't think to use Canva for documents, but if you're using a Canva document, they do have an AI tool called Doc to Deck, and you can automatically convert your document into a PowerPoint presentation. So I think that is a cool tool. And then with their Magic Studio, being able to type in maybe a description of the graphic that you'd like, and then it magically generates some templates for you to use specifically to what you need. They have a lot of new AI tools when it comes to the photos, the things you can do now. So awesome. Because originally you could remove the background, but now we can pick people out of the picture and put them other places. We can erase people and things out of the picture. We can also highlight things on the image. And so if, for instance, my shirt, we'd be able to use the Canva photo AI to go over the shirt and say, this shirt needs to be red, and then it will change my shirt to a red shirt on the picture. But that's just a few of the many Canva AI tools, but feel free to book a one-on-one so that we can look at that more. And so, as far as going back to the question about pivoting for small businesses, um, I don't really foresee this being like an immediate issue for small businesses at this time, because that would mean all of I think it's probably over, I think it was 18 million. I actually did a class on this earlier. So yeah, 18 million businesses that are on Google Business Profile. Then it would also, include the Google Trends, the Google Drive. I don't see that right now just all going away for small business owners. Um, that is a good question, and I definitely will keep my eye on it, but I don't see it directly affecting small businesses, anytime soon. And I had another question in here, but it went away. Okay. Oh, there we go. All righty. So, do we have any other questions? And while I mean, we have about 10 more minutes. So if anyone needed to see anything specifically, feel free to drop it in the chat and I can show you. Are you free for one-on-one? Yes. So, Corey, we can connect one-on-one to talk about Google Ads. I do like to be very transparent with people when they're starting with Google Ads. It is very different from social media ads. A lot of people are more familiar with social media ads versus Google Ads. Google Ads are pay per click. So we know that when you type in Google, the first couple of results are the sponsored ads. And a lot of times people just click because it's the first thing they see, but it might not be necessarily what they're looking for. And although they don't turn into a customer, you still pay for that click. So when you start doing pay per click ads, such as Google Ads, I do recommend identifying, a significant amount for advertising, at least a minimum of, I would say, to be effective and see some results, a minimum of 500. One thing I also want to mention is when you create your Google business profile, you get a $500 ad credit. It more is more so a reimbursement because you have to spend 500 to access the 500. But since 500 is a good average for Google Ads anyway, just look at it as you identifying a $500 advertising budget for your company, and then you spending that budget, but you getting that budget back. Alright, so, no. So, unfortunately, Google does not text the customers any appointment reminders. So that is a con of the appointment scheduler there, especially if you're used to like a Calendly where they might text reminders or email reminders. Unfortunately, if we wanted a reminder to go out, if we were using the Google Calendar for booking, we would have to send that reminder ourselves.